Welcome back again. Hasn't been this long this time. It's Valentine's Day today. Thank you to my partner for being supportive and letting me play with fun stuff on a special day. Although we're having different stuff tonight, so it's okay. What we're doing now is fabrication's coming off. Turbo, screw and pipes, dump pipe, bit of the K-frame stuff. I'm dropping the gearbox out. I'm using that green waste bin, shout out Yarra Ranges Shire, as a transmission jack. Sequential's only about $30,000, so hopefully it doesn't fall off because that would be average. Once we've done that, motor's coming out onto jack stands. I have all the fittings from Pertec, so Matt and Woz got onto that quick. So we'll go motor out, start doing the plumbing. Shortly thereafter that, motor back in, fab back on, plumbing hooked up and wiring. And shortly after that, we're gonna fire it up, which is all I really care about. I just wanna hear it run, to be honest. And then we'll be dyno, then we'll be track testing, and then we'll be doing lots of stuff. So let's do it. So last time, just before I left, I got these off. They're an absolute pain. Cam's welded them, I know they're awesome. So we're gonna start by pulling off screw pipes. There's two little V-bands down here. Hopefully, Cam, if you're watching this too, you put the V-bands in an accessible position. If you didn't, I'd be pretty sad. Turbo's coming off, so there's 2 bolts. Dump pipe's coming off. Rocker covers are coming off because they're powder coated. The coils are just sitting there to keep it dry. That's actually directly in line with the chassis rail, so either the intake's coming off or the throttle body's coming off, because remember, we're going down with the engine. Up with the car, down with the motor. Let's get that done. Wow. It never ceases to blow my mind every time. 2 things. How good Cam's fab is, like, it's just awesome. I love everything about what we're doing on this car at the moment. But just the sheer, like, the weight of this. Like, you'd proper just throw this at someone. And it's, not that you should, don't do that, but. Ah! Sounds about right too, in my opinion. It's the first time I'm, like, touching all this stuff and seeing it. Playing with it. Because the car's already up in the air, I might get my garden waste, green waste trolley jack out, gearbox jack, and get the gearbox out. So we're ready to pull the motor out. So this is just all going to plan. That's my Samsonite sequential. For anyone that knows what they are, knows that they're a little bit valuable, and it's like my favorite thing in the world. Skidoosh. It's sick. I need to undo these bolts to lower it down. So then I've only got 3 bell housing bolts in. I don't have my snap-on like proper extension for this. But I do have this. I just realised I've got the Fogo bin. How good's that in a factory with no grass? So helpful. Good for dropping a gearbox, I guess. That is terrifying. Anyway. Either the smartest thing in the world or this is the dumbest thing ever, and I'm not sure yet which one it is. Oh, the dowels come out with the trans. Oh my god. Luckily I've already been to the toilet today. Oh, right, we're good. If it's dodgy, but it works, it ain't stupid, it ain't dodgy, hey? Big success over here. So box is out, now it's time to start prepping manifolds off to drop K-frame. If anyone wondering too, this auto skyline bell housing on an adapter plate is how you get a sequential in these. And then there's a lot of wiring and stuff for flat shift, load cell and gear position and whatnot. And they run a concentric tilt and slave. They pretty much genuinely just bolt in. Cool, let's get these manifolds out. So the intake's off, which is my favorite thing ever because now I can see my billet engine again, which is just the best thing ever. Look at this. Look at this. I don't actually want to drive it, I just want to look at it. But I do want to drive it because I don't want to get dirty. One other thing, if you ever seen your car after fab, this is a bit of a tip. Do this. See how my ports are all taped off? So then while Cam's been fabricating, doing stuff, cutting stuff on and off, playing around with it, no dirt in the motor. Just keep your motor nice and clean. All right, so it's exhaust manifold time. Alrighty, that's progress. More billetness, more taped upness, The exhaust gaskets were in, obviously. Turbo gasket was in. Because when Cam did all the fab, you don't want to have no gaskets because then like literally a millimetre on your manifold and a millimetre down your turbo and all those wastegates, all that stuff's not going to fit. So I used my old gaskets. These look brand new, but they're actually used. So there's a full Nitto gasket kit just here, which has more gaskets. So I'll put another new set in. So now I'm just gonna figure out what's in the way in terms of dropping it. Alternator's fine because as long as it clears the chassis, that's all we gotta think about. So power steering can come down with it. The pump will go down with it. That line goes to the steering rack, which is coming down with it. This goes to the cooler, which actually needs to be moved anyway. So I'm putting in twin Phoenix oil coolers just down here. There's a U-turn fitting, which will then determine where they're going to sit, essentially. So one of them's the suction to the tank, one's the feed back to the tank. They are staying in the cast. We'll pop them up that way. The rad hose will have to move. So yeah, let me figure it out and probably create a huge mess. I just realised I'm an idiot. Probably two reasons why I'm an idiot. One is for building a Billet RB and spending this much money on a drift car. That's step one. Absolutely right out the gate, failed that. Second thing, I just realised these hoses don't matter because everything's going down and that stays there. I just go under the steering shaft. The dry sump lines just need to be moved sideways. These need to be moved sideways. That's pretty much it. So steering shaft, which right now is very accessible, and then drop it down. It's just like literally as simple as that. So this seems like it's going too well. People watching this, you've worked on heaps of cars and built cars. They just normally absolutely ruin your day. And this isn't. Mark my words, something's gonna go wrong. So I'm gonna pull out the power steering cooler that's up in here, drain it before we drop everything because it needs to end up about here anyway. And the lines are probably 6 years old and they're just like, don't be rubber. Apologies for the noise. It's like 35 degrees today, so I have a fan on. How dare I? Everything's good. All the manifolds are off. Everything's out of the way. Everything's drained. Power steering's all deleted because the cooler needs to be moved. About to genuinely go up. Pull out most of the bolts, and then we'll get 2 jack stands, 1 trolley jack. Get the motor out. We're gonna start plumbing up these lines, put the rear head and coolant feed in. That's it. Enough talking, start working. Also forgot to mention, basically I'm leaving the sway bar, all this stuff in. So then when we do the dry sump plumbing, it's as it is in the car. Wow. I've removed lower knuckle, tie rod end, so that way the knuckle and the brakes and the suspension things that we need to make the lines go around stay in. Where you're like, I think we're good, but this is also when you find stuff you forgot to disconnect. Why you move forward? Terrifying. The words of Borat, great success. That was scary for a bit. I'm gonna put this other rocker cover on, stop dirt getting in the motor. Look at that. We're at a point now where when you're building a car like this, there's always a time where you could do like so many different things. I've got a heap of fittings from Pertec, but I don't think I have all of them, so can't complete the plumbing. I can drill the manifold. We're tapping 1/8 MPT fittings into it for steam ports up to the swell pot. Can clock the turbo, can fit the exhaust studs, can fit the head drain, can fit the clutch. There's lots of things I can do. So I'm gonna do all that stuff, I think, and then I'm not gonna have parts until like probably Monday, Tuesday, I think. So that's when I'll do the plumbing. Then it's literally back in. That's all we're doing. And then obviously the manifold's going the last time, tape comes off, gasket's on, we'll be wiring, which means starting, which means dyno, which means 10,000 RPM. That's what it means. Very exciting. All right, so it's time for some PRP stuff. TDC pointer, because fancy engine, everything has to be difficult. Billet timing belt brace deletes the part on the cover where you would be able to see where TDC is. So I'm hoping that PRP's little fandangle on the bolt's down here somewhere. I think I've got to remove this anyway, because I've got a new one of these sensors to put in. So new cherry sensors for cam and cranks. We've got PRP Pro Series trigger kit. Dual rear head drain. If anyone knows RBs, this one's dry sumped. So this eliminates 90% of those problems. You need a head drain. I don't think I need one on this motor, honestly, because Bullet open up the journals and like the oil drains, and there's a lot of revisions on this block. It's not like a cast RB, but can't hurt. So we're going to do oil to the back of the dry sump pump plate on the cold side of the motor. Water, which I've had to figure this out myself, is going to go back into the lower rail of the plasma main intake. So then I know that goes into the bottom, the top goes to the top, and it bleeds water out the back of the head. It's just confusing. There's hardly any info on how these work, but I did call PRP. They were quite helpful. We're going to do that now. And one other thing, my most important thing, Billet RB oil cap for PRP, just because why not? It's the first thing you stare at when you open the engine bay. I used to have hypertune covers with no oil cap holes, dry sump to put the oil in the back, but I really like the look of factory GDR 26 covers. I also have high octane baffles to go in them. I got PRP dress up bolts to go with them. So we're just gonna get all the little stuff done. So to fit this, these two Welsh plugs get knocked out. Oil, coolant. Normally, a lot of cars, you do not use that one. This one's a bit different. That's going to get water from a higher point in the cylinder head rather than down here, which goes back to the thermostat. I have had a couple of RB cylinder heads fail around this rear 5.6 cylinder, so I figured why not? This one's a bit special. I don't think we'll have any problems, but why not guarantee you don't? So I'm going to knock these out. I think, because PRP are nice, these are already factory threaded holes, actually. I lied. That one isn't. I think I'm just going to tap that one. Normally you have to drill your head. So you've got to tap this out, drill it, get all metal shavings inside your cylinder head, and it's just not fun. Pretty sure looking at this, yeah, they're just going to bolt straight in there. And it comes with bolts. Something here that's not edible, so that sucks. I'm pretty hungry. Not bragging, but I don't know if you've seen many people remove Welsh plugs, but that went really well. There's nothing worse, you knock them inside the motor. A couple cool things about this, oil and water obviously, good chunkers, left and right drain, which for people like me with a dry sump, I've got ports this side and that side. This is the hot side, trying to minimize any hosing on this side. So like oil drain for the turbo oil feed has to be there in the coolant lines, nothing else. So oil and water, same side, this side will be capped. So that fits awesome, looks good. It's got O-rings, we'll be using sealant too. This is my #1 sealant, this Free Bond Japanese sealant. It's awesome, but I don't think you need it, but if it leaks, it's so annoying. You're gonna literally pull the motor out to get to it. So let's just make sure it seals. One and done. Got these fittings, we'll put the blanks on that side, fittings on that side. These are just dash 10 males, which then you just go to Speedflow fittings or your preferred brand. Mine's always Speedflow, always will be. So I'm gonna tap that hole. This one's already threaded. That's what the little countersunk bolt's for, is that one. This one's the bigger one, and that's why they give you a bigger bolt room to tap it out. I'm calling it a day today. It's already called a day, but I'm calling it again. Remember I said like everything was going really well? Well, there's a fair few things that don't fit, so I'll show you them now. That front coolant outlet is supposed to have a sensor, like a 1/8 MPT, or I think it's M10x1 for the pressure temp sensors we run. That doesn't clear this bracket, so I'm probably gonna need a new one of them, or I'm gonna modify it. I kinda want a Billet one, to be honest with you, to match the rest of the PRP stuff. That doesn't work. Under the manifold, there's these like coolant T-pieces I need to put in. It's gonna be pretty difficult to get all of them in, so I'm not sure about that. Outside of that, we're not bad. So once we get the rest of the cooling stuff, I can get that done. So we'll continue on with that in a minute, which will be in this video, but just not today, apparently. So it's Sunday, and yeah, there's a lot of fittings down there, and I'm just gonna get it done, but we'll continue on. So, it's now Wednesday. Last time I was here was Sunday, and we have a couple of things. We have a Speedflow catalog because one of my sponsors, Pertec Basil, they're amazing. Like Woz and Matt and all that, they're awesome to me. But I'm always either Googling it and like ringing up and it's getting annoying, and they know all the partners and stuff. But at least now, when I need something specific, so I should be able to get most of the plumbing done, go in here and say I want a 920-3 black in a -3. And they can just get it, and that way less stuffing around. And what I also have is another massive bag of fittings on top of the other massive bag of fittings. I don't even know where it is. So this is how we're currently situated. It's not even all of them. If anyone know what this stuff costs, this is horrendous. The reason I haven't done anything more until today, because there's a couple things in here. These are what we're using for the dry sump. So they're like it's like a normal speed flow line, but you hydraulically like crimp it. Same process, like fit the collar to the hose, put the fitting in the hose, but then hydraulically crimp it there. Just a very like secure and long lasting fitting. We're gonna use them for the dry sump, the suction side of it. And the other thing is, here is the main thing that we need. T-pieces. Under the intake manifold, I put in all those coolant ports. There's 3 coolant ports at the back of the manifold and the rear head drain, which then goes up to the top rad hose to the swell pot that Cam made. These. So obviously, adapter in the manifold, this up there, thread him in, and then boom, boom, and it goes from head, 1, 2, 3 of them, then this up to the swell pot. This is what we've been waiting on. So I'm gonna fit these up now and we'll see if I was right or wrong with what I thought might work. I'm starting to get happy again because everything on this has been going wrong. Now I think it's going right again. Head drain's on. That's coolant, goes back to the thermostat here. That's dash 8, that's dash 10. So I didn't have the fitting for that, I have the fitting for that now. My other concern was, see my 3, so 1, 2, 3, it goes from there, to there, to there, to there, to the front. I was like, man, that fitting's a lot closer to the other one as well. Guess what, have a go at this. So by the time that threads up, that's amazing. It's all coming up, Millhouse. All right, let's put these other ones on and see what we're dealing with. This is all obviously making sense, but that's almost gonna be a 90 to there if that even works, or a 90 off there, don't have it feed through there, and then it can come from like there and join it. Yeah, I don't know, we'll work that out in a second. Let's see what other fittings I got here and see if we can jimmy it up. All right, picking up where we left off. We've got the crimp fittings for the dry sump. I found some stuff. Like 4 years ago when I had an RB26 head, I bought titanium intake studs and then I lost them. And then recently I found them and then I lost them again here. I found them. Titanium intake studs can go on. Intake has to come back off because it doesn't clear the chassis rail anyway, so we'll do that last. Went to Wolfchester, so across the road. Shout out Wolfchester. Exhaust studs. That bag's not shut properly. Well, I had 12 nuts. Probably don't now. I'm gonna go to Pertec because I've only got dash 12 hose. Around here, I need dash 10. So they've given me like 5 meters of this hose. I don't know if I do need this for anything, but I'm gonna hold on to it for now. Pump the intake, do the exhaust, do the turbo plumbing, and then back in. Then fab back on. Turbo Smart sent me out some stuff. Shout out Ricky, because he's been really helpful. So they've obviously sponsored the car. Called him up Monday and said I need a blow-off valve, which I'm not happy about this, by the way, everyone. Blow-off valves, I personally don't like them. I think they're not very cool. You don't have any flutter, no dose. I've got a titanium intake pipe. Why would you want a blow-off valve? Because at like 9,500 RPM on and off throttle drifting, compressor surge ain't great, and it's gonna make it a lot more responsive and snappy and higher RPM. So we've got a Turbo Smart comp gate and a Turbo Smart FPR8. It's one new fuel reg on this car. I've always ran Turbo Smart stuff. I've got Turbo Smart wastegates, Turbo Smart turbo now, Turbo Smart fuel reg, blow-off valve, everything. Turbo Smart FPR8 and the FPR8 bracket. So we're gonna mount that up once it goes back in, do the fuel system plumbing, and then it's almost time to start this thing. Gonna modify the alternator bracket and probably that's it. All right, just got back from Pertec again. Got the 100 series hose we're using for the coolant. This is the crimping hose we're using for the dry sump suction lines. Heat sleeving for the turbo oil drain and oil feed. All of this stuff. That lot's from just now. That's from there. A lot of it's on here. Yeah. If anyone knows how much speed flow and like these fittings cost, this is horrendous. But anyway, it's a Billet RB, so no, the budget's not in the picture. So I'm gonna make up the water lines now. I'm gonna drill and tap the manifold for the 1/8 MPT steam ports, tap the back of the head, and motor can go back in, which is this is the main focus. Get the motor in, get the fab back on it, and then for my brain moving forward, to me it's just wiring. And that seems like a simple job, because that's not too bad if that's the only thing we gotta do. Because fab's done, motor's built, gearbox in, clutch, tail shaft done. Fab, done, wire it. Let's do it. Nice. Intake's just off, I've stripped off all the fittings. What I'm gonna do is drill out the 1/8 MPT coolant ports in the top, drill out the rear head drain because I bought some new drill bits, because the reason I did that the other day is I didn't have any drill bits. So I'm gonna drill that, manifold back on, manifold studs in, make up all those lines, the exhaust studs in, let's motor in. Yeah, I'm excited, let's get this done. M8 1.25 tap in there, stuff the bag in here so we don't get stuff in the cooling system. Let's put one in here so we don't get any in the motor. against my will, I've just drilled this out and modified it because why would it fit? Let's try this again. Alrighty, we be getting there. Another fittings run to Pertec. That's far under the manifold. Step up to dash 16. This is my radiator hose and some little extensions for the turbo water feed lines. So I'm gonna quickly finish that stuff off, pull the balancer off because we'll put the TDC pointer on and the new crank trigger cherry sensor. So plumbing's done, minus turbo side, which is getting done in the car. But I'll show you what we've finished up with. So obviously that's oil feed from the dry sump, which gets done in the car. PRP dual head drain from there, down to here, down to there, branches there, front there. So it means now we're getting 2 lots of dash 10 into a dash 16. One more dash 16 there. They go up there to their custom swell pot, and then the other one goes back to the rear rad. So that's done. So now it's balancer off. Get the TDC pointer fitted, the new cherry sensor, which is down there. Can't get to that with it on. So pull the balancer off. TDC pointer goes down there. Then motor in. Inlet back on with the gasket, with all the studs, bolts, everything. Yeah, we're actually pretty close now. So let's just get it. that's a wrap. Everything's back together, all the fab's back on, all the plumbing's on. The intake was a massive pain. Spent a lot of things along the way. So I've got some small stuff to mount, EMAP sensor, oil filter mount plate, and then I plumb it. It can have coolant, it can have oil, and then we're gonna wire it, get everything set up, power up car, prime it, fire it. That'll be the next episode, I think. Wiring and maybe the first start, hopefully. Thanks for watching.